What if I told you that the common advice for solving a massive life transition problem, the one with the hot flashes and the mood swings, what if I told you it actually required you to sign up for a dozen other serious health problems?
Obstacles.
It sounds less like a cure and more like a bad health insurance plan where the deductible is your quality of life, right?
That's a great way to frame it, actually. And it's exactly what we need to unpack. The standard medical view of menopause is pretty simple math.
Okay.
You hit, say, age 52 on average, your ovaries retire, and you get this severe hormone deficit.
Right.
We're talking estrogen plummeting from like 400 down to 20, progesterone just tanks to almost zero.
And the obvious answer is just replace them.
Exactly, just replace the hormones. But our mission today is to look way beyond that surface level and find the single main root cause. Because if you could fix that, you might be able to get rid of a whole mountain of drugs.
Right. Because right now, the conventional path is a one-way street to something called polypharmacy.
Polypharmacy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally many drugs. It happens because doctors are trained to treat every single symptom as a separate, isolated issue.
And the list of drugs it's kind of startling when you see it. You have women on SSRIs for depression, maybe Ozempic for that sudden weight gain, NSAIDs for joint pain, and then you have drugs specifically for bone loss, for muscle loss, for high blood pressure. Wait a minute.
Yes.
A single natural life event leads to prescriptions for your weight, your mood, your bones, and your blood pressure. That just feels fundamentally broken.
It does. It assumes a dozen different failures in the system when really they're all cascading from one breakdown.
And that's before we even touch the main fix itself. The hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, that comes with its own scary list of side effects, doesn't it?
It does. And you, the listener, you really need to be aware of them.
Yeah.
The big concerns based on the data include a documented increased risk for both breast cancer and endometrial cancer.
Oh, okay, that's heavy.
And then you have the cardiovascular risks.
Yeah.
An increased chance of blood clots, which, raises your risk of a stroke. We also see things like gallstones, fluid retention, high triglycerides. It puts a lot of pressure on the system.
So let's unpack this. If the standard fix is creating more problems than it solves, we need a new theory. We have to look under the hood. And this is where it gets really interesting because the real culprit seems to be this tiny little microcomputer in your brain that's just gone rogue.
We are talking about the hypothalamus.
Yeah.
This is the master gland. It's the body's central computer for, sleep, hunger, stress, and temperature.
The thermostat.
Exactly. There's a part of it that is your literal thermostat. It's supposed to keep you locked right at 98.6. It makes you shiver when you're cold or, triggers a hot flash to dump heat when you're too warm.
I think the house thermostat analogy is perfect here.
Go for it.
Okay, so your home thermostat, you set it to 72,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't instantly turn on the AC the second it hits 72.1. It has a buffer zone. Maybe it waits till 73, 74.
Right. A comfortable zone of fluctuation.
But when estrogen drops in menopause, that buffer zone, it just shrinks dramatically.
And that's the key. That is the mechanism behind all the misery.
Yeah.
Now, these tiny little variations, a spike in blood sugar, a moment of stress, they instantly trigger this massive, over-the-top response.
Because that comfortable cushion is gone.
It's gone. It's become razor thin, and suddenly you're drenched in sweat.
And what's so fascinating is that the hypothalamus isn't just about hot flashes. It's the control center for so many of the other symptoms that feel completely unrelated, like your set point weight.
That's right. That weight your body just loves to gravitate back to, the one it refuses to go below no matter what you do. That's the hypothalamus. It also controls your appetite, your cravings, your energy, and it's tied to your circadian rhythm. It's incredibly sensitive to light.
So if this one little computer starts failing, suddenly all the dots connect. The midsection weight gain, the mood swings, the inflammation, the crash libido, bone loss, high blood pressure. It's all one system breaking down.
It makes you wonder. I mean, it doesn't seem natural for a woman to have this, catastrophic systemic collapse during a totally normal life stage.
Yeah, which begs the question, why? Why does losing one hormone cause such chaos in the brain's main regulator?
We have to look for other factors, compounding factors.
And this is where we found a really surprising connection, the first hidden root cause. Research shows that if you have prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or even just undiagnosed insulin resistance, it doubles your risk of hot flashes during menopause. Insulin is the fire.
The connection is profound because estrogen plays this huge protective role in your metabolism that most people just don't know about.
Huh.
First, it protects the beta cells in your pancreas.
And those are the ones that make insulin.
Those are the cells that regulate your blood sugar. So losing estrogen is like, I don't know, firing the security guard for your blood sugar factory.
Yeah.
And when that protection is gone, the cells decline. Second, estrogen helps your body stay sensitive to insulin. So when you lose it, you get insulin resistance. And that just creates chaos with your blood sugar and makes that visceral fat so much worse.
And it all ties back to the thermostat, right?
Yes, because estrogen normally keeps inflammation in check. When it drops, inflammation rises, and that inflammation makes the thermostat zone even narrower. The whole system is just primed for chaos.
Let's talk about the weight gain for a second, because the mechanism it's wild. It's your liver, the body's sugar factory.
Right. When estrogen drops and insulin resistance kicks in, the liver gets this completely false signal. It thinks the body is starving for sugar.
So it panics.
It panics. The process is called gluconeogenesis.
Yeah.
Your liver starts pumping out sugar like an unregulated factory because it thinks we must be out of fuel,
Yeah.
even though there's plenty around.
How much sugar are we talking about here?
In someone with type 2 diabetes, up to 80% of the sugar-causing problems is coming from their own liver.
80%. Wow.
It explains that sudden, stubborn belly fat perfectly. It's not just calories. It's an insulin problem. You have to fix the insulin resistance.
Okay, so that's a massive piece of the puzzle. Insulin. Let's pivot now to the second root cause, which is vitamin D. And this is where we start seeing these really interesting cultural clues pop up.
The vitamin D connection is bidirectional. They depend on each other. So estrogen is needed to activate the vitamin D that you get from the sun or a supplement. And, crucially, the vitamin D receptors on your cells. They need enough estrogen to even work right.
So you could be taking vitamin D, but if your estrogen is low, it might not even be doing anything.
Precisely. And it goes the other way, too.
Mm-hmm.
You need enough activated vitamin D for the enzymes in your fat and adrenal cells to convert testosterone into the estrogen your body is now relying on.
Since the ovaries are retired.
Right. So if you don't have enough vitamin D, you can't even make the small amount of estrogen that helps keep everything, like insulin, stable.
And here's the fact that just blew me away. There's a major cultural clue in the data. Between 80 and 91% of African-American women report severe hot flashes.
A significantly higher rate.
And the reason is biological. It's melanin, which gives darker skin its color. It acts as a natural sunblock.
It does. And so in the United States, darker skin color correlates very strongly with lower vitamin D levels. Low vitamin D means a much, much higher risk of hot flashes. It points right back to a sunshine deficiency making everything worse.
And that deficiency leads straight to another huge menopausal problem, rapid bone loss.
Absolutely. When vitamin D is deficient, your body switches to its plan B. That's a hormone called parathyroid hormone, or PTH.
The emergency manager.
You can think of it like that. PTH's job is to pull calcium out of your bones to keep your blood calcium levels stable for your nerves and heart. It's sacrificing the skeleton to save the system.
And that's why women can develop osteopenia and osteoporosis so quickly after menopause.
Exactly. And getting your vitamin D levels high is the main way you bring that destructive PTH back down to normal.
And yet, here's the crazy part. The standard advice from most doctors is what, 600 to 800 IUs of vitamin D3 a day?
Which is?
Yeah.
It's just nowhere near enough. For basic systemic support, immune function, muscle, that estrogen conversion, the sources we've seen suggest you need 6,000 to 10,000 IUs every single day.
Just to maintain
the system, let alone treat a deficiency. Operating on those tiny amounts leaves the body in a heap of trouble.
Okay, so let's pull all this together. The issue isn't just low estrogen. It's a systemic breakdown. The hypothalamus is hypersensitive because it's being hammered by insulin resistance and made even worse by a lack of vitamin D.
Exactly. So the solution isn't to just force estrogen levels up, which brings all those risks. The real solution is to fix the root causes.
To reboot the system.
Yes. By addressing metabolic health and these nutritional deficits first.
So let's talk about the exit strategy, the actionable stuff for the listener. How do we attack that insulin resistance problem head on?
It has to be dietary. Since the problem is rooted in carbs and metabolic dysfunction, the first step is to aggressively attack insulin resistance. Cut down carbs. Implement intermittent fasting.
And why is fasting so effective here?
It's the quickest way to lower your insulin levels. It gives your insulin receptors a break so they can become sensitive again. And it tells your liver to stop panicking and pumping out sugar. This is reversible, and it can be reversed quickly.
Okay, step 2 tackles the sunshine problem. Vitamin D aggression. What does that look like?
To really break through the barriers, practitioners are often starting people with confirmed deficiencies on something like 20,000 IUs a day.
That sounds like a lot.
It is,
Hmm.
but it's initially necessary to overcome all those blockages from the low estrogen and inflammation. But vitamin D is useless on its own. It needs partners.
And those partners are.
Magnesium. It's essential for converting D into its active form, and it also helps with sleep and lowering cortisol. And vitamin K2. K2 is the traffic cop that tells all that extra calcium where to go.
Into the bones.
Into the bones, not into your arteries.
Okay, so while we're fixing those big root causes, people need relief now. What's the third step for that?
Look into natural relief. There are compounds that we call drug mimickers. They work in a similar way to some new drugs that target the heat signaling center in the hypothalamus.
And what are the natural versions of those?
You could try soy isoflavones, resveratrol, red clover, or the really popular one, black cohosh. They can give you that immediate symptomatic relief while the other, bigger fixes are kicking in.
Step 4 goes back to the brain, the light reset.
Right. Your hypothalamus controls your circadian rhythm, so you need to align it. Get 20 minutes of morning sun, right at sunrise if you can. If not, a full-spectrum light for 30 minutes works.
And at night?
At night, blue blockers for 1 to 2 hours before bed. Dim the lights. You need to give your brain a very clear day versus night signal so it can regulate itself.
Let's talk about sleep. It's often the first thing to go. Step 5, progesterone and sleep support.
Progesterone drops the most severely for many women. A low-dose progesterone cream can be a game changer for sleep. And if sleep is still a major problem, maybe 3 milligrams of melatonin before bed.
And melatonin isn't just for sleep here, is it?
No, it's critical because it lowers something called luteinizing hormone, or LH.
Why do we care about LH?
Postmenopause, LH can spike by 1,000%, and that huge surge overstimulates that already sensitive thermostat, causing misery. Melatonin calms that LH right down.
1,000%. Wow.
And a quick bonus. The infrared rays from morning sun also trigger your cells to produce melatonin naturally. It all comes back to light.
Okay, final step. What if someone does all of this, they fix the insulin, they fix the D, and they still feel like they're just running on empty? That brings us to step 6, the mother hormone.
This is when you should have a competent physician check your testosterone levels. Testosterone often crashes in women too, and it can be a mother hormone. Meaning, when given correctly, like with pellets, it can convert into just enough estrogen to satisfy the body's needs for insulin sensitivity and to help those vitamin D receptors work properly. It's a targeted catalyst, but only after you fix the underlying systems first. So, the core insight here is that this isn't a life sentence. It's not something that requires a handful of high-risk drugs. It's a systemic breakdown where the drop in estrogen just exposes these deep vulnerabilities.
The insulin resistance and the vitamin D deficiency that were probably already there.
Exactly. Which then short-circuit the brain's master regulator. Fixing the entire system by focusing on those two things is just a safer and ultimately more effective path.
So what does this all mean for you? Maybe the biggest health lie out there isn't about what drug you need to put in your body. Maybe it's about whether your body has the simple raw materials like sunlight and sensitive insulin to even use the hormones it already has. You might be surprised what a little diet and sunshine can fix when the traditional solutions are based on, well, outdated lies.